We've all heard of 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite Basketball. It's the cornerstone of basketball cards and of every good basketball card collection. There's massive sales numbers left and right, record prices what feels like every few weeks. There's pop culture publicity, even LeBron owns a few of these cards. But why? What is it that makes this set so important? Why is everyone talking about 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite, and why does it have all these massive sales and record prices? To really understand why this set is what it is today, we need to take a look back at one of the best draft classes, not only in NBA history, but in sports history, to create one of the best sports card sets of all time. So now we're in 2003. It's present day, the set's about to come out, but first we have the draft. Arguably the best in NBA history, maybe even the best in sports history, among any sport. You have Dwyane Wade, you have Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, and of course, LeBron James. Now let's get into the actual nuts and bolts. You have the first basketball RPA and the first premium product ever made. 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite. When this product came out, it was $500 per box or $1,500 per case. And the funny thing is, the public reaction was pretty crazy. It's just the first time that we'd ever seen a product at this price, particularly a product where for $500 you're getting 5 cards. Basically, here's how it works. You get 5 cards per pack, 1 pack per box, 3 boxes per case. So in other words, you get 15 cards per case. Now, if we talk about this case being worth in the range of $1 million, people who originally invested in this case and held it are having a return over 650x, which is incredible. LeBron has 20 different cards in this set, and if you add up how many cards in total that means were produced for LeBron in 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite, you get to a total of 646 LeBron James cards. That includes all his RPAs, all his base parallels, all his different jersey and autograph cards, 646 cards produced in total. So regardless of what card you get of LeBron from 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite, you're in an upper echelon of collectors if you have even one of those 646 cards. Let's talk about the pulls for a second and some of the massive cards that have already come out of this product. One of the most valuable cards, maybe really the most valuable card of all time if it were ever to come up for public sale again. And that is the Michael Jordan LeBron James dual 1-of-1 logo man, of course from 2003 Exquisite, LeBron's rookie year. Now some of the other pulls that happened too. We have all these LeBron RPAs coming out at the time of the product. There's 2 different versions of the LeBron RPA. You have the number to 99, which is the base, and you have the number to 23, which is the parallel. But over the years, the rarity of that number to 23 has totally taken over, as we've seen the BGS 9 copy of that number to 23 card at the time set an all-time record for the most expensive card ever sold at $5.2 million. And the thing that's really remarkable about this is none of this shows any signs of stopping. All of these records continue to be broken month after month, year after year. The trajectory of this set and every single card in it has been absolutely incredible since the time that it came out. Now with these cases and with really any product, you're going to want to know how rare it is. And companies don't really release how many cases they made of a specific product. It's not something that they really advertise too openly. So that gets me to my belief is at 1 RPA per box and a total of 7,470 RPAs being made and 3 boxes per case, there must have been 2,490 total cases produced. And if you know anything about sports cards and production numbers, this is virtually nothing. This is minuscule. Now we can also go back and look at some really cool statistics and say, okay, well, how often should you hit LeBron cards based on this data? There's 646 LeBron cards made in total, and at 2,490 total cases produced, this means you're hitting a LeBron card 1 in every 3.85 cases. Also hitting an RPA of LeBron 1 in every 20.4 cases. So your odds here of hitting LeBron, quite frankly, aren't that bad. I mean, 1 in 3.85 is an incredible number to think about hitting one of those 646 cards in. So let's get to present day for a second. What's still unaccounted for? A lot of these boxes, a lot of these cases, frankly, most of them have been opened. So what are the cards that people still haven't pulled out of the product? Are there gold RPAs still left? Now, we need to talk about the pops of some of these cards too, because if you look at the pops on BGS and on PSA, it can be a little bit misleading. The pop for the number to 99 version in BGS holders is 97. And you'd say, wait a second, well, that means there's only 2 left. Well, the PSA pop for number to 99 LeBron RPAs is 7. Now you go, wait a second, that's 104. There's only 99 of these made, which you're right, doesn't seem to make sense on surface level. But there's 2 things that aren't accounted for here. One is crossovers, which means someone had the card in one holder, be it BGS or PSA, and switched it to the other holder. In that instance, both cards live in the pop report of each of those grading companies, and obviously it's only one card, so it gets double counted. Then you also have what would be a regrade. There's a really interesting example of this, a card that was previously a BGS 9 that ultimately ended up in a BGS 6 holder. It's hard to know exactly what happened with these, but again, in that instance, that's going to count as 2 cards in the pop report, but it's really only 1 card. So that's the number to 99 version. Then you have the gold version, which in the BGS pop report there are 19 of, and now there's 23 of this card made. And in the PSA pop report, there are 3 of, so that gives us a total of 22. This one makes a lot more sense, but also again, you gotta imagine there's a crossover or a regrade in here, if not a couple, which means there's still gotta be several of those golds out there in boxes today. So we've looked at the total numbers in the pop report, but the top end of these cards, what are they grade and how many of them are there? In the BGS pop report for the number to 99 LeBron RPA, the highest graded copy is a BGS 9.5 with 13 copies receiving that grade. However, none of them, 0, are true gem or higher. Then we also have the BGS Gold, which the highest grade of that is a 9.0, and there are 5 of those. Now with PSA, there is 1 PSA 10 of each copy. And so that's what the top end of the market looks like for the LeBron RPAs. Now, what's really interesting to talk about is what do we think those would be worth? And of the cards that might be remaining in these cases today, if you really pull a winner, if you do pull a number to 23 LeBron RPA and it does get a PSA 10 with a 10 auto, and maybe to top it off, it's number 23 out of 23, which, by the way, is unaccounted for to this day, what do you think that might be worth? So there are still a few really massive hits out there in these cases, but how many of these cases still exist? We talked about there being 2,490 that were ever produced. I think you have to imagine at least 95% of these cases have either been opened or are unaccounted for in some way. Maybe they got lost in shipping, or there was a fire or a flood or something, but I have to imagine less than 5% of these are still sealed. That leaves us at around 125 potential cases that could still be sealed. But anyway, Ryan and Carlo are people that have been in this hobby forever. Ryan in particular is literally a LeBron James collector, so I'm going to turn it over to him to talk about when the last time he's seen a sealed case for sale is.
Honestly, I've been in this hobby my whole life and I haven't seen one. So I know there was maybe one that was shopped around years ago privately, but he wanted, I think, $1 million back then, and it just never happened.
Boxes. We see boxes come to sell. We've been lucky enough to broker some boxes, but a complete case is it's a unicorn. Never seen one, to be honest with you.
You know, just hearing Ryan and Carlo there makes me rethink that 125 number. That might account for the number of boxes and cases, but how many of those cases have been opened? If we talk about 80 to 90% of those cases actually having been opened, the number of sealed cases remaining of the greatest product of all time has got to be in that, 12 to 25 range, which is incredibly low. And that's really what this comes down to, right? This is arguably the best sports card product ever made. It's incredibly rare, features some of the best players ever, and some of the most innovative set design, set configuration, all of it. It's important to pop culture, it sets all the record prices, and frankly, this sealed case should be the cornerstone of any really legitimate wax collection, period. But you're not going to find many, if any, more of these. They aren't offered for public sale hardly ever. And with the increase in prices, who knows what one of these might sell for next time around, if there is a next time. Now this leaves us with one final question. What would you do if you got this case? In my rational brain, I say, of course I'd keep it sealed. In my hobby enthusiast brain, no self-control ripping wax brain, convincing myself the best card in the world is in my case brain, I would love to rip this thing and it would be an incredible experience, and maybe you could even do a really fun event around it. I'll leave it to Ryan and Carlo to talk about what they would do, and we'll call it there. See you guys next time.
I mean, look, the right move is to seal it, but, you gotta rip it.
You gotta rip it, 100%.